All right, so one thing we know that there are 3 tests and the final. And so we've had 2 of those tests. We need to start thinking about the third. It will be on arrays, which we've been learning, and radio buttons, which we did Friday. So we need to get some radio button labs and homework. So there's a radio button homework today. We need to get those things under our belt and then decide to have the test. And it will be a lab period. So it'll be a Tuesday. And then we've got to make up our mind. We're going to do the Tuesday for Thanksgiving or the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. I'm flexible at this point. So, but that's just a decision we have to make. I'm not supposed to put it in the last week of classes. Talking about so here's Thanksgiving, 23, 24, 25. We're talking about a Tuesday. We can do it after the 29th, or we can do it before the 22nd. I'm flexible at this point. Okay. And again, it'll be sort of 2 things, 2 HTML pages with JavaScript you're going to make, and 1 will be involved arrays, maybe some parsing to make those arrays, and then some play with radio buttons. And maybe I'll also, I think we talked on Friday that possibly a variation on the radio button idea is to work with a set of checkboxes. We've worked with like a single checkbox, but we haven't worked with a set of checkboxes. And so we might want to do that at some stage as well. Okay. So so we can play today with something with checkboxes, or there are some things with arrays that we haven't done. We have not searched an array. We haven't looked for something in an array to say, do we have such a thing? They want one thing or the other. Play with the array, search the array. Okay. So let's make some array. Maybe I'll make some parallel array. Sometimes you're searching one array, but you want something in the other array. So let's do that. So I'm just going to make some new page. And we'll be searching an array search. I'll put the F22 for fall 22 in there, .html. Get my Emmet abbreviation. Okay. So we're going to search array. And we're going to do it in a number of different ways. There are variations on search. Some are built in. Some you need to do more by hand. Okay. So I'm going to have some array, and then we're going to have a box where the user enters something for us to search for in our array. So let's make a label. And we'll say item to search for. And then we'll be working with, let's say, input. Do we want to search for words? Let's search for words first. Okay. So it'll just be an input of text type. And it'll have an ID, so I can access it, text. The thing we're going to look for, I'll search for some term, I guess. Okay. And then we'll want to display the results in some div. And it might be we don't find them, or it may be we found them, or we have to say maybe we found it more than once, or depending on what kind of search we're doing. All right, let's see how bad it looks so far. So there it is. We're searching for something. Okay. Doesn't need to be that big. So we're going to enter a term. All right. So what kind of arrays do we want? What do you want to look for? I want some kind of parallel arrays. Let's do these. I guess, why not? So I'm going to have a script. Can't spell script. And we'll have let movies square bracket, and what's a movie you like? Thanks. We'll do Rocky. We'll do Philadelphia things. Rocky 2. That's enough Rocky. Okay, there we go. And I need something that's not something that's different. Some silly Disney movie or something. Pinocchio, but I can't spell that. Nemo, I can spell that. Thank you. All right. And then we're going to have, I don't know, a parallel array of genres. And so what the hell is Rocky? Is that action? We'll call it action. Action drama. Oh, that's good. I like that. So we'll say action drama. I'll put so they're action drama, and action drama, and then what? Animation comedy or something, we'll say. That's good, because that will bring out a point I want to bring out. And action drama, we'll say comedy animation. Okay, so we have just two parallel arrays. Let me save, let me get rid of this. So we haven't done anything to the page, but we just declared two arrays. Right now we've declared them globally, so any functions we have would have access to them. Okay. So I probably need some button up here. You like buttons like this. Search. I still can't spell. And we will give it an on click. And I'll call that search. And then I need to start declaring that function in my script. Function search. Okay. And what's the first thing I want to do in my search function? Get the user import that I want to search for, exactly. So genres, there's no N at the end of genres. So let what I'm searching for. Okay, that's all right. Sometimes people call it the needle because you're searching for the needle in the haystack, but we'll call it keyword. Fine. So, and then that's going to be document get element by ID, text term. Text term dot value. And before we go too far, let's learn it out and just see. And we have our button calls our function, and then we get our keyword. Don't want to go too far without testing. What am I searching for? Of course, I'm searching for poop. And so at least I know I'm searching for poop. Okay. All right. So we are going to now, we have to decide which array are we going to search for, a movie or a genre. So what are we searching for? We'll make another button to do the other one, but you want to search right now for a movie or for a genre? Select movie, thank you. So this will be search for movie. And instead of item to search for, we'll say movie to search for. Okay. So we are going to take the keyword and look for it in our array of movies. And the thing will be to say, yes, we have that, or no, we don't have that. Okay, so we are searching for the keyword in the array of movies. I want to use a built-in method for arrays known as indexOf. It's actually one of the vocabulary words for this week. But so there are some built-in functionalities for arrays. One of them is this method called indexOf, and it's going to look in your array, see if what you're searching for is an element in the array, and if it is, then give you the index. Hence it's called indexOf. And if it doesn't find it, it gives you a -1. So what I'm going to get out of this thing is a search in. I'm going to get an index. So I'll just say index, or I could say search index or something like that. But I'm going to get the index in the array if I find it. Okay. So I'm going to say I'm looking in the movies. And I'm looking for index of, and I'm looking for the index of the keyword. And there we go. So I'm looking in the movies array for the keyword. I'm searching for the index. Let's just alert it for now. Okay, so I have Rocky, Rocky 2, Creed, and Nemo. Those are my movies. I'm going to search for them. Let's see what we get. All right, so what am I going to search for first? Of course, I'm going to search for poop with 2 O's, and I'm going to get a -1. I do not have poop. I'm going to search for Nemo. That was 3. Array indices start with 0. Nemo was the 4th thing in our list, 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is the 4th thing, but the 4th thing has an index of 3 because indices start at 0. If we said Rocky, we get 0. If I said Rocky 2, I get the 1. If I say read, I get the 2. If I say Rocky with a small r, I get a -1. It's case sensitive. Okay. All right, so that is index of. Index of tells you, so let's do something with this index of more than alert it out. So we will say if what? If index, do we want to focus on finding something or not finding something first? Finding. Okay, so if we found something, then index is not equal to -1. That means we found something. So in, I don't know, document, get element by ID. And what do we call it? Div result. Divs have inner HTML. And we can say got it or hit or whatever you want to say, something that to say that we found it. And otherwise, else, we'll say sorry, no, or sorry, whatever you want to say. All right, so here we are looking for Rocky. Yes. We're looking for poop. No. Okay. So this is the simplest built-in search that we have. It is built in. We have an array. Arrays have come with, what comes with an array is this index of. It will tell us where it found it, if it found it, and that it gives us a -1 if it did not find it. Okay, so there is a built-in search. What happens if we want them to be able to put in Rocky with small letters, or if we want, let's just start there. Let's say we want them, if they put in Rocky with small letters, we still want them to find it. Then we have to work a little harder and start building our own search. Do I want another button? Just put it on this button. Okay. So we got the keyword. We had the index search, but now we're probably going to overwrite it with this more difficult search. If you're going to write your own search rather than use theirs, then we're going to do what? We're going to loop, and we're going to ask a question. We know how to do that. We know loops, we know ifs. So our standard loop over the array. By the time that, I don't know when this test is, before or after Thanksgiving, but by the time this test rolls around, you better be able to loop over an array like without even thinking about it. It just needs to be automatic. I0, I less than, what was it? Movies. Dot length. I plus plus. And we're asking a question. We're going to ask if, and I want to, this time I want a case insensitive search. If I ask if two strings are equal, if I say if the movie I equal keyword, they have to match letter by letter, capital or small. I mean, those things have to match.
Can you just use a uppercase?
If we use two uppercase on both, then we are not changing what we have in our array. We're not changing what the user typed in, but we are changing them both for the sake of the comparison, for the sake of the if. So exactly. So if movies the ith movie dot two, we can put them all both in lowercase, we can put them both in uppercase. I think he said upper, we'll go with upper. So if movies I to uppercase equal keyword to uppercase, then we're going to say and this time I'm going to say found it. Now, if I didn't find it, what am I going to do? I can or I had this minus I had this index, it was -1 or not, and I knew to say I didn't find it. I don't want to loop through. If I loop through my array, I'm going to ask the question 4 times. And I don't want to say each time, I don't want to alert each time, no, I didn't find it. I need a way that lets me get all the way through the loop. And only when I get through all the way through the loop do I know that I didn't find it. indexOf did the work for us. It tested all the things, all the elements of the array. Now we're doing it for ourselves. And you have to realize that failure to find something doesn't happen until you're done the loop. So you can, if you find something, you should get out of the loop and stop asking the question. So there is an approach we could say before we start the loop. We could say we didn't find it and only overwrite that if we do find it. That's one approach. Assume failure and then overwrite if we have success. That would work. We could introduce a variable, a Boolean variable, true or false, that says, did we find it? And again, assume it's false, start the loop, and then if you find it, set that equal to true.
You could also do if movies up without length. Then you could do that. It's an else.
Where am I? I don't know where you are.
So I'm just saying, like, to notify that you didn't find
Oh, so did I reach?
So it'd probably be an else if. It can't be an else because you're specifying. So else if movies I equals movies dot length.
Movies dot I. If I gets to be The loop's gonna kick me out before I get to movies, like.
Oh, yeah, that's not a great idea.
And with this idea of let, we didn't have a big discussion about what let means. But this let, if you know people from the other course, they use var, but we use let. If you use var, that's usually okay. But let says that this I only exists here in the for loop. So we're not allowed to ask questions about I after the loop. If it were a var, then the I would exist and you could ask a question about it down here.
Any true false statement use Boolean.
So we could use the Boolean. So let's do that. Let's say I'll call it found. And I'll assume that it's false. If you have a variable to add things, if you have a sum variable, you start it at 0. That's where you start a sum. If you are counting things, you start at 0. If you're multiplying things, you start at 1. If you're searching for something before you start to look for it, the default value is false. You haven't started to look, so have you found it? No. But if I did find it, then found is true. One equal here because I'm setting found equal to true. And then after the loop, it's only after the loop that we can say whether we have or have not found something. Then we can say if found, and if you want here, you can say equal true, but you don't have to because it's already something that's true or false. And do you want to do something if it's not found or if it's found, or both? Both, okay, then we'll have an else. And then let's move this to the found. And down here to the not found. So we're writing our own search this time. If the movies, I'm looping through the movies and I'm asking if the ith movie, uppercase, is equal to the keyword, uppercase, then I'm going to set my found equal to true. And then once my loop is done, so 37 ends my for loop, then in 38, I'm saying if I found it, say found, if not, say not found. Okay, so this time we're not using the built-in search, we're writing our own. So what am I searching for? Rocky with small r. And I found it. But Nemo space. I didn't find. So we should learn how to trim things in case there are spaces on the end. Okay, so we learned to deal with the uppercase problem, but let's just make a note here. Need to trim as well, which we didn't do. All right. What if I search for Rocky and I want to find Rocky and Rocky 2? Now, somebody said, somebody mentioned a break, and if you want to be efficient, if you are going to loop the array and try to find something, and when you do find it, you expect to find it only once, then you can stop searching through the array. You've hit the target, and if you know the target's only going to be hit once, then you can quit your loop. So we played with return, which means stop the function, get out of the function. And then there are equivalent things to say, get out of the loop, break out of the loop. We saw break also in our case statement. So if you're going to be efficient, let's show the I as we're going. And let's include here a break. I think it's a break and not an exit. If it's not break, it's exit. But we should see the I be 0, 1, 2, 3. If we don't find it, it should go through all of them. If we do find it, it should stop at whatever I it found it at. Let's see if that's working. So what am I searching for? Creed. So I found it at 2. I didn't want to put my alert there. I'm sorry. I wanted to put my alert outside of the if. So I want to see all the I's, but I want to see it stopping before it gets to the last one. So I'm looking for Creed. There's the 0, that was Rocky, it's not Rocky. There's 1, that's Rocky 2, it's not that. There's 2, it's Creed, which it is. And then it stopped. It didn't go to 3, which was Nemo. Okay, so that's if you want it to stop when you found the hit. If you want it to find other possible hits, and do we want it to search for partial things?
Yes.
So if you wanted to find all the Rocky movies, if they search for Rocky, then we need another version of this. Do you want a different button, or do you want the same button, just altered? Same button, okay. So let's grab this. It's going to be a lot the same. Up to there, okay, copy that. And paste, okay. I already declared found, so let me call it, let's just set it back to false. Now. How are we going to do this? There is, I think, a string thing that's called contains. See if something contains a word. And there is another version of indexOf for strings. So there's an indexOf arrays, mi an element of your array, and then there's an indexOf for strings, mi part of a longer string.
Yeah, string.
You want to
The string.
the indexOf?
Yeah.
Index. Okay, so there's another version of indexOf. And let's keep the uppercase one. And then which one is the longer thing? Or what is we're searching for is Rocky, and the movie title might be Rocky 2 as long. And to keep track. That's why some people, as I say, some people call it the needle in the haystack, to remind themselves which is the thing they're looking for and which is the thing they're looking in. But so we are looking for the keyword in the movie. So I'm going to take out equal equal. I'm going to do dot index of. This is a really tricky line now. It's getting a little long. And found it means what? Index of, what does index of do when it doesn't find something? -1. So if it's not equal to -1, it found it. Yes? Not equal to -1. Okay. Now I'm going to take out this break because I want to find it. I'm going to bring this out of here and back in here. And I'm going to the movie. All right. Sorry. I am assuming I didn't find anything. I am looping through my movies. If the movies uppercased, if I'm looking in the movie for the keyword and I don't get a -1, that means I found it. So I'm going to say I found it. And I'm going to add it to my movies, and maybe I'll add in a break. Give me a break. And I should clear out any old crap I have before I start my loop. Okay, so again, I may have some old results in my div. I'm clearing it out. I'm starting a loop. I'm looping through my movies. I'm taking my movie, my ith movie, I'm putting it into uppercase. I am looking within those words, within that string, for the keyword, also in uppercase. And if it finds the keyword in the movie title, it will give me an index that won't be -1. So if it's not equal to -1, that means I found it. I'm going to mark it as found. And I'm going to append it plus equal. I'm going to append it to my inner HTML of my div. Down here, I'm going to adjust this, and I'm going to say if I did not find it, I'm going to say not found. Okay, so another variation, oops, on our search. Assume we did not find it because we haven't started to look. Clear out any other results that we might have had before. Look over the movie array. If the movie array uppercase, so we don't have to worry about the case, if I find the keyword within it, also uppercased, I will get, if I find it, I will get something other than -1. That means I found the movie and I'm appending the movie to my results. So if I search for Rocky, I should find Rocky and Rocky 2. If I didn't find it, if I get through the loop and found is still false, then I'm going to say if not found. So if found was false, if not found, I'm going to say not found. So what am I going to search for? Hoop. I still have some alert in there. Where's my, oh, the alert in the previous version of the loop. Okay. I have that previous search. Let me take that out for a second. Okay. So if I'm looking for hoop, I didn't find it. If I'm looking for NE, that's in Nemo. There it is, Nemo. If I'm looking for Mo, That's in Nemo. I should have what here? What should I have here? What should I have in my text search thing? I should have a clear if you change it. If I have an on input, I should change these results. If I have just row, there's Rocky and Rocky 2, so I can get multiple results. If I'm searching for Re, that's Creed. Okay. I just search for R. That's Rocky, Rocky, and Creed. There's no R in Nemo. Okay. So you get the idea. I can search for one array and give you answers from the other array. We could have searched the genre array for action and then printed out the title of the movies that had genres that were action. No movie had a genre that was just action. It was action/drama. So we'd have to do this last kind of a search. So if you want to find, if you're searching for action and you want to find a movie that's listed as action drama, you have to do this sort of partial term search that we just did. And if you want to search the genre, but print out the title of the movie, what do? It's easy enough. You make this what you're looping over. Well, it doesn't matter what you're looping over because they're parallel. They have the same length. So for the for loop, it doesn't matter whether you say movies or genre. There are 4 of both of them. But you would change here. I'm on the wrong one. You would change this to genre. I would now, if I'm searching a genre, I would be searching the genre array for the keyword. But down here where I'm putting something on the page, I would still put movies. So it doesn't say that, but I'm going to change it just to show you that that's true, and then I'll probably change it back. But if this were a genre, if I'm searching for the genres for the keyword, but printing out the title of the movies, that will work. I can search one array and print out results of the other array. So I say then over here, this should now say genre to search for. It doesn't, so I'm just going to change it back in 2 seconds. But if I were searching for drama, I get Rocky, Rocky 2, and Creed. They were all drama. None of them had that as their exact genre, but they had that part of their genre was drama. And you have to know how to do, you can always do this. But indexOf, if it's a very simple, just search my array, indexOf is easy and beautiful. But you have to be searching for exactly the element of your array and nothing else. But you also have to be able to write these more generalized searches. And it's just a loop and an if. Just loops and ifs. You can do that. All right. So I put it back to movies. What was driving me crazy? So I have 2 minutes. I'll do it. The text input. I want to give it an on input. And I usually call it clear out. Now I need to define clear out. Make sure I'm not in any other function. Clear out. open close parenthesis, open close curly, and I want to take the div and set it equal to quote, quote. So if they change the search term, I'm clearing out my answer. So if you search for meme, you find Nemo, but if you add Nemi, it clears it out. And that's not found.
These are the three ways of like finding the things, elements of the array. So in the third one, I didn't quite understand. Is it the part when you start writing the first if? And is that part the actual scripts where it kind of searches the similar or like the
Yes, so
similarity? I don't know how to
yeah, so here's that whole last search. I assume I didn't find it. I clear out anything I didn't have before. I start looping through my array. I'm going to be looking for whatever they entered. Is it part of the movie title? Is it part of what's in my array? So the way indexOf is, you start with the bigger thing and you look for the smaller thing. The index of above, the index of that we used above was the array version, and we had the array dot index of. So we had the big thing, the array, and we were looking for the element in the array. So so we start off with the big thing, the movie title, and we're looking for the keyword in it. So that's index of. An index of is going to give you a position if you find it. So what this whole thing would give you, movies, to uppercase, index of, key uppercase. Say you searched for EM, and that's part of Nemo. Then that would give you, it's not 0 because N, Nemo, the first letter is an N. It would give you, it would match on the index of 1. So this movies to uppercase, index of, keyword to uppercase, that if we searched for EM, then on the the movie with an index 3, which is the 4th movie, Nemo, it would give here a 1, which is not equal to a -1. So we would get in here.
-1 is only when it's
when you don't find it at all.
Yeah.
So -1 is when I don't find it at all. And you have to be careful when you're looking for things in a loop. You don't know failure until you've been through the whole loop.
Yeah.
What a lot of people will do is put their else up here, and it will be, they keep saying false, 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 or they found something and then they overwrite the found with a didn't find.
Basically, if it's equal to 0, it will search for the exactly.
It would have to start with it.
Yeah.
So if I asked for the index to be 0, that would mean that it would have had to start with what I found.
Okay.
And we talked briefly about regular expressions, and that is another way to search for things. You can search for patterns rather than just explicit things.
Yeah.
But there's a thing in regular expressions where you say, I want it to be at the beginning, I want it to be at the end, things like that. So not just I want to find it, but where do I want to find it? All right, I'm out of time. I will hang out and answer questions.